Welcome to Copilot Snacks, and I am your host, Michael Giannotti. And today we're going to take a look at a three-step process leveraging the power of Copilot in a workflow. In this case, I'm addressing clinician managers, but in your case, it may be something different, but the workflow still stands. So this all stems from a meeting I had with a customer, and they were talking about a need that they had for document creation, training around the subject matter of that document, and then testing kind of that knowledge or surveying the end state with the users who were clinicians. Again, what I'm going to go through could work for anyone. So here's the scenario. We're going to start in Microsoft Word. We're going to create an FAQ around new hand washing procedures for a particular hospital. Once we have created and saved that FAQ, we're going to do something that's a little different than you may have done in the past in Word. We'll show you that. But once we've saved that FAQ, then we're going to create a presentation to be able to present about the subject. And then Inline, we are going to go ahead and place within that a survey or quiz. In our case, we'll do a quiz that will then test knowledge of the clinicians around that subject matter that they've just finished being trained on. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and kick this off. My dog's barking if you're getting disturbed by that, because I think my wife came home. But we'll go ahead and we're going to get started. I'm going to open up, in this case, Microsoft Word. And here you can see in Word, it says describe what you'd like to write. And so I can write in the context here, start to kick off my document creation. And so I'm going to go ahead. I have a prompt that I've already prepared. Let's go ahead and grab that. We're going to paste that in here. And it says create an FAQ around the importance of proper hand washing and sterilization after a clinician is finished visiting a patient. An important point. So we have documentation throughout the environment around this, and I'm going to go ahead. Notice I could go ahead and reference particular files if I'd like, but we're going to go ahead and generate. Now you can see it's going rather quickly, and it's creating now this FAQ for me, pulling that from information from within our corporate environment. And it's just about finished. As soon as it is, there we go. We get that little prompt comes back up, and it'll allow me to iterate. I can say things like make it less formal, more formal, include more detail. I could regenerate, or just say, in this case, keep it. So we have a 4-page, barely 4 pages document that's here. And we're going to go ahead now, and we could just save as is and use it later, but I'm going to go ahead. I want to actually add an image pertinent to this. So we'll go ahead, and I'm going to open up Copilot here on the right-hand side. And notice one of the options we have, create an image. So I'm going to select that, and I'll say an image of a female nurse washing her hands in the ER. All right. So I put a female nurse. Sometimes I do a male nurse. I like to be specific to really guide what it's doing. And you can see here, now we have this designer preview that's come up, and it says it's AI generated content that's going to be provided here. So I'm going to get 4 options that I'm given, right, once it finishes that. And then I'll be able to select and insert that image, and we'll have that right at the top. There we go. So if we want, let's go ahead. We'll select this first one, say insert. There we go. We have this high resolution image. Never existed in the history of the internet. Never will again. It is original imagery. That is, as a user of the system, it's mine or my organization's, right? And there we go. We'll just return there. So that's done. And I'm just going to say, let's copy and sterilization. We're going to go ahead and say file, save, enter our name there and save and done. So just like that, we've created a FAQ document very quickly. But now before I let my clinicians see this particular document, I want to provide a brief training for them. And one of the easiest ways to create training collateral is with Microsoft PowerPoint. So I'm going to go ahead and open up PowerPoint. In this case, I'm going to pick our little medical template and click create. I want it to have the look and feel of our established template. So now that I have that, I have three options: create a presentation about, create a presentation from a file, could go back to that FAQ, or ask Copilot, but I'm going to give it the subject matter. So we're going to open that up. And now I'm in this narrative builder to help me build the narrative and then ultimately the slides. And so again, I do have this pre-typed because I am the world's slowest typist. So I'm going to go ahead and say Control C and bring that back up. We'll paste that in. And now it's going to go out, again, looking at that same material in our environment. Very quickly, it's creating the outline of my presentation. I love this because it now allows me to do a couple things. One, I can move outline sections up and down. I can give them a rating, like or dislike. I can delete them. And notice this, boom, add more with Copilot. So in between any of these, I could add another outline section. Ultimately, these are going to be sections within the framework, and each of these is going to be slides. So I could come in, just click that, add with Copilot, and give it more information that I'd like to have it generate. But we'll go ahead, let's close that. We're going to keep what we have. It's now going to go about generating the slides. And as it's doing that, it's going to do a couple of things. One, it's going to create the titles for each of the slides. After it's created the titles on each of the slides, then it's going to add the content. It's going to add graphics where it thinks it's appropriate. It's going to create the section slides for that. And for each slide, it's also going to add the slide notes. So a whole lot happening here. Boom, there we are. So we now have 23 slides. We can see here, I'm going to put this into the normal view. Go ahead and select that. Notice on the first slide, it does warn us AI generated content may be incorrect. Why? Because it's dependent on the data you're pointing it to. So if I had a specific file I wanted it to generate from, an approved file, then I'm going to get much more accurate information. I just pulled from within our org. I'm going to go ahead though and we'll get rid of that. I already know that. And you can see for each slide now as we go through, I not only have the slide, I have imagery that's appropriate, that it's pulled in, and I have slide notes. So it's done this great job. It is incumbent on me. This is considered a draft. So I need to review and edit just like I would have needed in that Word doc. But we're going to come ahead for the sake of what we're doing here. And I'm going to add a blank slide. So let's come in here, home. We'll say blank. And the reason why I want to do that is we are going to add a quiz at the end. Now, how are we going to do that? So there's a couple of things that we can do. Number one, I can click insert and notice here is Microsoft Forms. That'll allow me, and we are going to use that I could initiate the form directly from here. However, I want to leverage the power of AI to make the form or the quiz. And right now we're in kind of a PowerPoint's jumped ahead, and this particular link does not give us the Copilot ready view of forms. So I'm just going to have open Microsoft Forms. Here we are. And I'm going to say I want to create a new quiz because this is a quiz, right? And so I have here, again, text, a little more descriptive. Put that in. And it says, let me get rid of my little piece there. I'd like to create a quiz. For clinicians, it's Smarter Health that tests their knowledge around the importance of proper hand washing and sterilization after a clinician is finished visiting a patient. Include questions concerning the type of pathogens hand washing addresses, modes of pathogen transmission, proper hand washing techniques, the 4 steps of effective hand washing and sterilization protocols for clinicians. I could have put more. That's enough. I'm going to click generate. And we'll sit back. We can twiddle our thumbs. And there we go. Look, it's building my quiz for me on the fly, including, whoa, and it did do it. What happened? Failed to generate content. Yes, it had it. And that's the beauty of when we're working here in preview land. I'm going to go one more time and hit generate. Not quite sure why it did that. I've done this 4 times today. So you can see it's creating a quiz. It's even checking the appropriate answers. And for some reason, it will not generate for me. Oh, I don't know what's happening. So I'm getting an error. Draft with Copilot, try it one last time, and then we'll move on. And I'll just input one in and show you what that looks like. So I'll hit generate. The demo gods, 5th session out today, have failed me. And there we go. Oh, yes. What's that, 3rd time's the charm? I'm going to say keep it. So there we go. So now we have our quiz. Excuse me for the hiccups, but here we go. And it says it has suggestions to improve my form. I could, go ahead and select those. I'm just going to come on down here. I could go ahead and change the theme, right? We have the style here. I can click that and say, ooh, let's make it be something else. I'll pick just to be gaudy. We'll pick waves. There we go. I'm not going to do background music. And there we are. So now what I want to do is actually collect responses. So, I could go in here and I could say, hey, I want to copy the link, shorten the URL, etc. But what I am going to do here, we have some other options, right, for responses, present. I'm going to go back here to my form and click Forms. And I'm going to get this view here. There we go. So you can see I have the ability to say right in line and generate it from here. That's not quite there yet, but what is here, there's the one I just created. So I'm going to go ahead and say insert. And there we go. Now it says, what do you want? What view? Do you want it for a presentation view or forms directly in the slide after a meeting? I'm just going to be giving them this PowerPoint to read. So I'm going to go ahead and say the second option. And just like that, I now have my form inline where users can come in, the clinicians can come in, they can select. Look, it even gave me the points, right? So I have here a 10-question quiz, and people can come in, give their answers. I could have edited that to be different, but I took it as it is. And just like that, we now have training and quizzing all in line. So that's it for today's. I will include the prompts that I used in the blog post containing this particular video for Copilot Snacks. Hope you find this useful. Think about ways that you can do things in sequence as part of a whole process for creating content and disseminating it to your staff. So clinician managers, this was for you. With that, this is Mike Giannotti for Copilot Snacks, bidding everybody have a great day. Take care, and as always, ciao.